Yo, peace. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? This is Love Growing. Signing in, checking in again. And this video right here is gonna be it's gonna be it's gonna be an album review on Andre 3000's recently released album based on the flute. And I'm also gonna go a little bit into the benefits and some of the background and some of the gods connected to the flute, and how perhaps if you connect those entities, those spirits, those deities to the album, you might be able to get something out of it more than just a bizarre listening experience. You know what I'm saying? To be totally honest. Okay, first of all, Outkast, pioneers of Southern hip hop, one of the most creative groups of all time. You know what I'm saying? To quote Andre 3000, you know what I'm saying? The South got something to say. You know what I'm saying? The South got something to say. So always loved Outkast. Although I thought the song "Hey Ya" was overrated, that's the one song I didn't care for. But songs like "Sorry Miss Jackson," "Roses," uh, "So Fresh and So Clean," the song they did with CeeLo, and just just every the all around history of Outkast. You know what I'm saying? International Players Ball. You know what I'm saying? Right. I know you ain't a pimp, but pimp, remember what I taught you. You know what I'm saying? And all that. You know what I'm saying? Classic. You know what I'm saying? Andre 3000, one of the Outkast, one of the all-time greatest groups. Big Boy's voice was always dope. Andre 3000 is one of the greatest lyricists, MCs of all time. Now, of course, over the years, though, his behavior became, kind of bizarre. You know what I'm saying? And once he started to be seen again, he was seen playing the flute. Okay. Now, as far as the album goes, I think there's about 13, 14 cuts on there. Excuse me. 13, 14 cuts on there, which even the titles of the songs are kind of bizarre. I think one of them was like if Beyonce and something and this something had a baby, and bizarre titles and everything. It was a little bizarre. But all in all, though, I feel like if you connect that to some of the deities connected to some of the deities connected to the flute, you might be able to pull something together, and I think it could even enlighten Andre 3000's attempt, even even for him. So I think if you connect it to certain deities and if you connect it to things of a spiritual sense, you might be able to get more out of it. So basically, so to talk about the album itself, didn't quite understand it. As I said before, it was a little bizarre. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, it wasn't terrible to say like, man, this is terrible. Not so much as terrible, but it definitely didn't make much sense. Or I guess you could even say it was abstract, like Q-Tip. You know what I'm saying? But Q-Tip records, whether it's abstract or not, tends to make sense. And the album didn't really make sense. But again, I'm not mad at the attempt of what he did. You know what I'm saying? The flute has magical powers, so perhaps there is something in Andre 3000 that has a spiritual sense. And he was always kind of eccentric. You know what I'm saying? He from the clothes that he used to wear in the Outkast days. You know what I'm saying? So, he was always definitely 70s hippie, 70s hippie-esque inspired type of dude. Definitely Prince inspired. Definitely Jimi Hendrix inspired. So and those two guys were eccentric themselves. So Andre 3000 has always had a sense of being eccentric. Or you could even say, being or you could even say being out the box. You know what I'm saying? Outside the box. So So yeah, so the album itself didn't really understand it, but it wasn't terrible. Um, it would have been nice to hear some hip hop from him, but I think he said that he may be too old to rhyme or he too old to rap, and he wasn't inspired. And what's he said? He mentioned something about other artists, other older artists not being as hip, so they really can't be hip hop, or they're not as hip hop anymore, and all that and all that. So so it's like, so it's like, you know, uh, it would have been dope. Excuse me, it would have been dope to hear some hip hop from him. But with that being said, I want to try to give it some kind of a spiritual sense to kind of reel it in, and for the people that have interest in making that has interest in making more use of either something that could be confusing or not so clear or abstract or eccentric. There's a way to even utilize parts of that. So the overall my overall view of the album review my overall review of the album is didn't make much sense. Not sure what it was, but I still love Andre 3000. Much respect to him. I'm glad he came up with something. And as far as me being an artist myself, I can appreciate any artist that tries to do something different and something that's rather unexpected. Same thing with RZA when he did Bobby Digital, Bobby Digital, Digital Bullet. The last one was Digi Snacks. You know what I'm saying? And then the most recent one was him and DJ Scratch. So yeah, shout out to the RZA as well. Wu Tang Forever. And so yeah, as an artist, I can respect it. Not mad at it. It wasn't terrible, but kind of confusing. But nevertheless, here's the spiritual connection that you can possibly get from it. So to start off, Pan, the obvious deity or spirit connected to the flute is Pan. Now, Pan is of course a rustic god in the wilderness. I think it's connected to the god Janus. That's Janus. Um, yeah, Pan has a magical flute, so which might be connected to like the leprechaun or the fairy kingdom and all that. So that's one deity that you can look into and find out more about. You can just go look up Pan God or the God Pan or the gods of flute or the gods of the flute, and you can find Pan. He's one of the more popular ones. One of the one of the deities that's more easily defined. Now another god is actually a goddess named Athena, who is a Greek goddess. And she would play the flute, but if she played the flute with all her might, it would take away her beauty. And I think that she would become kind of like, was it barren looking or something like that. So you can look up Athena. That's Athena. Athena, a Greek goddess, and she's also connected to the flute. And then another god connected to the flute. Oh, well, before I get to that one, there's a book called The Flute of God by Paul Twitchell. I think it was, and he's the founder of Esakankar spirituality, which was founded I think in either 1865 or 1965. I think 1965. He was from Kentucky, and he did a book called The Flute of God. So you can check that out. You know what I'm saying? See more about the flute, how it relates to that, and see if you can connect that to Andre 3000's album, if you can. Another god connected to the flute is a actual god, not a goddess, but a god named Mauritius, who was a god that challenged Apollo and was, I think he challenged Apollo and he lost, and he was punished by Apollo for challenging him in the first place. So you can look up Mauritius, Marsyas, who I also might be connected to because I'm also connected to Apollo as well. Apollo is the god of the sun in the Greek mythology, the Greek pantheon, and the god of the sun, music, prophecy, archery, poetry, so on and so on. So look up Mauritius. And what's it? There's a bug in here. The hell. Anyway, yes, and also Mozart. Mozart, the Magic Flute, and the Masonic Opera. You can go study that. Also, the Masonics tend to use the flute because they say music has the ability to refine and elevate men and women equally. The Masons, okay, Freemasonry, Masons, say that the flute has the ability to, yeah, elevate man and woman equally. So you can look, so study the Freemasons in their sense of what the flute means. And outside of the idea of a secret society, the Masons actually have a spiritual system, legitimate, genuine spiritual knowledge. So I would definitely suggest and recommend studying Freemasonry outside of the idea of outside of the idea of a secret society. So go research and look into Freemasonry, see what you can get out of it. It's definitely worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? I've learned some things from studying it, like the two pillars. Was it Boaz and Chawachin or something like that? Something like that. The two pillars, which are black and white pillars, which is on the foundation of sex, which is like you're sculpting the stone to have a perfected and refined sense of self or a foundation. So yeah, so Freemasonry and their and their understanding of the flute and what it can do and the properties of it, and then you could research Mozart and the flute and his understanding and the properties of it, and what they say about the flute and how it might have magical properties, or I'm sure people have heard the magic of the flute or magic flute and all that. So most certainly look it all up, and yeah, man. So this is just album review mixed in with different spiritual things to go study and look into. Have at it, have fun with it, be open minded. Like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts if you would like to. And me myself, I'm an artist, so this is coming from an artist as well as somebody who deals with spirituality for more than 20 years. I've been an artist since I was 5 years old. Been pursuing that as a career since I was 12. Been studying spirituality since I was 14. Still study to this day. In fact, I'm still studying right now. So after this video is posted, I'm going back to studying, and I'm gonna get ready to go to bed so I can go to work. But other than that, always studying, always working on music. I'll be putting out music top of next year. So sometime in January, I'll be posting the music I created during that month, either in January or February. But new music is coming. Working on that. Again, I'm a singer, MC singer. So yeah, got those things jumping off. My name is Love Growing. Getting ready to sign out. Remember, study the flute amongst the gods, goddesses, Mozart, Freemasons, and see what you can come up with. And I would recommend that after you study, you go back and try to listen to Andre 3000's album, if you can, and see if you can get anything more out of it, and try to make more of an understanding of it that he himself might not have been able to make. Okay, so go back. So you could do it either way. You could listen to it and try to go study and try to find it, but I would recommend that you listen to it, study, and then probably go back to it. See what you can find. If you don't find nothing, you find nothing. If you find something, you found something, and go see where that leads. Spirituality is all about. Spirituality is often about pulling the string and see what unfolds. When the string is pulled, you see what unfolds. You go on from there, and you see what comes about. And you have to be honest in your assessment and your judgment of your assessment and your judgment of what has came about, and the understanding that you are coming to, that you come into, and yeah, and again, meditation along with examining and assessing what's true and what's not, so you don't become some kind of misled egomaniac off the idea or the thought of what you may or may not be. See what I'm saying? You want to keep this thing in practical use, and just in a well defined, unexaggerated, actual practical mind frame. All right. So yeah, go study those gods, goddesses, Mozart, Freemasons, and all that. see what you come up with, and yeah, I think that's about it. Just love growing, the killer of the ignorance of all of human life is over death, and death is ignorance of all humanity for anyone to kill. I mean, the killer of the ignorance of all of human life as human life is over death, over the ignorance of all humanity for anyone to kill. Speaking. I'm an artist. I'm out. Peace, much love, inferential peace. The real peace sign has 3 fingers. So peace to you and your being. I'm out. Love growing. Peace.